Hi and welcome. My name is Michael. I'm a French person living in Australia, actually around Sydney, and I've been diagnosed as legally blind fairly recently. So what's happening is that I still have some central vision, but I lost my peripheral vision. I cannot see up, left, down. That being said, I really enjoy cooking. What I'm set to do now is a kind of a channel with videos on cooking for people with low vision. So if you enjoy cooking and you have low vision, feel free to watch some of my recipes. The first one is going to be a salmon poké bowl. A poké bowl is not only a tool to catch wild Pokemon, it is also a very healthy dish made of raw fish, vegetables and rice. There are 6 steps to prepare a salmon poké bowl. Step 1, prepare the marinade. Step 2, dice the salmon. Step 3, marinate the salmon. Step 4, prepare the rice. Step 5, prepare the veggies. Step 6, put everything together. It usually takes 30 to 60 minutes to prepare a poké bowl. It depends on how long you want to marinate your salmon. Right, let's get started with step 1, the marinade. So the first step is to prepare the sauce that we use to marinate the salmon. For that sauce, you don't need much, but there are some key ingredients that you need to have. The first one here is the sesame oil. You can use some different type of oils, I just like the taste of sesame oil. Important, the soybean sauce, that's something that you cannot skip, you need to have some of that. Mirin, that's a kind of a Japanese cooking wine made out of rice. It's very good, a bit sweet. If you don't have it, that's fine. Sesame seeds, that's mostly because it looks cool, so if you don't have them, again, that's pretty much okay. And finally, here, ginger and garlic. I tend to use paste because with my vision I try not to cut too many things, but if you are comfortable with your vision, feel free to use 1 thumb of ginger and roughly 1 clove of garlic. Finally, what you need here is 1 spring onion. I usually just take the white part there. Let's start with 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, between 4 and 6 tablespoons of soybean sauce, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll go for 5. Up. 1 tablespoon of mirin, right, a little bit of garlic, and finally ginger. I tend to put quite a bit of ginger because it's really nice taste. There we go. Alright, so put everything in there, and then without any surprise, you just need to stir it. So this is where the small spoon comes into play. Up. Just make sure to, if you're using paste, make sure to break the paste a bit, and stir until it's ready. Finally, when it's ready, it's usually just like maybe 20 seconds, you can add up the sesame seeds. It won't really add much taste, it's mostly because it looks cool. And here it is. Stir a little bit again to make sure the sesame is in the sauce, and you're done. You'll be able to use that to marinate your salmon. And the final ingredient to the sauce, the spring onion. I'm only going to use the white part, so here be careful, you're going to need to cut it very thin. So if you don't have much residual vision, or if you don't feel really feeling very safe when it comes to cooking, and you have a food processor instead, then use it to slice your onion. In my case, I still have my central vision, so I'm pretty okay with cutting this. So here we go. What you want to do is just to actually slice it up, pretty thin, up, so that you have those nice looking little rings of spring onions. What you do then is you just put your spring onion in the sauce, nothing really fancy there. I don't find the spring onion taste that much in the sauce, it's mostly because it looks cool, it looks like you've done something fancy. Right, once it is there, just stir once more, and it's ready to use for the salmon and the marinade. Hop là! Voila, enjoy! Looks good. Let's move to step 2, dicing the salmon. So if your salmon still has some skin, what you need to do is take the edge of your knife and start cutting at the end here, very low, like diagonally, until you've removed some of the skin. Then what you can do is that lift a bit the salmon, put your finger on the skin there, and then start slicing again diagonally toward the bottom, and keep on doing that until, oh, we can't see much because of my hand. Let me just, up, that's better. All right, so keep on slicing until, ta-da, you're done. The next step is to cut your salmon. So what you want to do here is to dice the salmon and then marinate those dices. So first thing, just cut your salmon like this over the full length of your salmon. Be careful, especially if you have low vision like me, just, if needed, do it slowly. Voila. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. It's not there yet, just, yeah, don't have a super good knife. Alrighty, now what you can do is just, cut it slowly to dice the salmon. And you see, these steps just takes a couple of minutes and you end up with nice little dices of salmon. Alright, at this stage we have diced the salmon, we have prepared the sauce that we use, so all we need to do is to put the salmon in a bowl to marinate. So we take the salmon, put it in a bowl, up, Feel free to keep one bit of salmon for yourself. Yeah, always nice to have a little treat. And then take your sauce and just, put some on your salmon. If you have some left, that's fine, just, keep it for later, do another poke bowl or whatnot. It's a good sauce anyways. Up. Alright, so now that it is here, you just have to leave it. I usually leave it for 1 hour, but if you're in a hurry and if you just let it marinate for 30 minutes, that should work too. So, don't overthink it. Right, so now your salmon is marinating and this will take up to 1 hour. The next thing to do is to prepare the rice because it takes some time, so I recommend to get started as early as possible. For the rice, I tend to use brown rice. You can use any rice really, but brown rice is healthier, so that goes with the poke bowl vibe. It's supposed to be a healthy dish. So my setup here is that I have my pot, I have the rice, and I'm very close to the tap because I need to fill that with water. So yeah, because if you have provision, it's good to have everything, close together. So let's do this. I'm going to use this little cup to measure the rice. So this is a sake glass, it's very small. If you have any other thing to measure, just go ahead. So for one person, I usually do between 1 and half a cup, depending on how hungry I am, I would say. So I go for, let's say here, 3/4 of a cup. And what you want with this rice is to have 1 volume of rice and 8 volumes of water. So here we go, 1 rice. Up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time I'm just filling it 3/4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. So now that's good. And all that's left is to cook the rice. So there is absolutely no magic in here. Just, grab your pot. Put it there, pour the rice, and wait. Okay, now that the rice is cooking and the salmon is marinating, it's time for step 5, preparing the veggies. Right, first one is the carrot. You notice that I've already peeled my carrot and I already cut it a little bit. What we want to do with the carrot is cut it into sticks so that it looks nice. So I take one of my half carrots, cut it into 2 halves, and then cut it into some sort of sticks. Up, okay. It's not perfect, so I'm going to cut it a little bit more so that the sticks are thinner. Up, there we go. And rinse and repeat with the rest of the carrot. Next, the black fungi. So here what you want to do is to cut it in small, very small bits. You can either leave it like this, where you see you have some kind of long little pieces of mushroom. Otherwise, you can just pivot it a bit and cut again to have some very small pieces. Up. It depends how small you want your fungi to be. It doesn't change anything when it comes to taste. Cool. So at this stage we have some salmon happily marinating. We have cut some fungi and some carrots. We have the rice gently boiling. So what we want to add to our poke bowl is a bit of corn and edamame. So to do this, I just use some frozen corn and some frozen edamame. I put a handful of edamame in a bowl, a handful of corn in a bowl, and then wait until the water boils, add the corn, wait a couple of minutes, remove from the water, let it rest on the plate with the veggies, add the edamame to the boiling water, let them boil a couple of minutes, turn off the heat, remove from the water, and drop on the plate with the other veggies. Finally, slice the avocado. You can count something like a quarter of an avocado per person. Make sure to use a ripe avocado because otherwise removing the skin is going to be a bit of a nightmare. So what you want to do here is just to slice it up like this, some thin slices of avocado, and then add it to the same plate with the other vegetables. Voila! Now we're almost done. All we need to do is to prepare the final dish. Alright, almost everything is done, so now it's time for step 6, putting everything together. Right, so before we finish, I'll just try the marinated salmon. Yep, that's good. That's some good stuff. When the rice is cooked, remove it from the water. If you want your poke bowl to be cold, you can add some cold water to make the rice cold. And put the rice in the bowl. And you can use a spoon or anything to have a nice layer of rice at the bottom. Once you have a nice layer of rice, what you want to do is to add all the ingredients around the rice so that it looks nice. Starting with the avocado, the corn, the edamame, the carrot, and the fungi. Finally, you can add the salmon at the center and pour the sauce all over. And voila, it is done! Enjoy your poke bowl!